This is an ABC News special report.
Good afternoon. I'm Lindsay Davis in New York, and we are coming on the air at this hour with breaking news. Officials are about to hold this press conference that you see after shots were fired in the vicinity of former President Trump at his golf club in West Palm Beach, Florida. The Trump campaign says the former president is safe. Let's listen to the latest from officials.
Call came out, shots fired. That was called in by the Secret Service. Because we're in constant contact with them all the time, we were notified of that, and we had units here that immediately sealed off the area. Fortunately, we were able to locate a witness that came to us and said, hey, I saw the guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tag, which was great. So we had that information. Our real-time crime center put it out to the license plate readers. And we were able to get a hit on that vehicle on I-95 as it was headed into Martin County. We got a hold of Martin County Sheriff's Office, alerted them, and they spotted the vehicle and pulled it over and detained the guy. After that, we took the the witness that witnessed the incident, flew him up there, and he identified as the person that he saw running out of the bushes and jumped into the car. Now, in the bushes where this guy was is a AK-47 style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks which were hung on the fence that had ceramic tile in them, and a GoPro, which he was going to take pictures of. So those are being processed right now. The Secret Service agent that was on the course did a fantastic job. What they do is they have an agent that jumps one hole ahead of time to where the president was at. And he was able to spot this rifle barrel sticking out of the fence and immediately engage that individual, at which time the individual took off. So that's what we know about the investigation. We have somebody in custody right now that is a potential suspect. We got a little bit more work to do on it, but as we usually do, as soon as we decide that we're going to book him into the county jail and the charges that he's going to be booked into, we'll get those to you, and we'll get a picture of him, and we'll get you his background. So now I'm going to turn it over to the representative of the Secret Service, and he's going to make a brief statement.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I first want to thank all of our law enforcement partners, to include the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office and the Martin County Sheriff's Office, for their involvement today. Former President Donald Trump is safe and unharmed, following a protective incident shortly before 2 p.m. on Sunday at Trump International Golf Club at West Palm Beach. The U.S. Secret Service personnel opened fire on a gunman located near the property line, and this matter is under investigation. I'll turn it over to my partners over at the FBI.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Veltri. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI's Miami field office. The FBI has assumed the role as the lead federal law enforcement agency in the investigation of the incident that occurred earlier today at Trump International Golf Course here in West Palm Beach, Florida. We've deployed a number of resources, including investigative teams, crisis response team members, bomb technicians, and evidence response team members as well. What we need right now is for the public to avoid the area around the golf course. We will continue to support this investigation with the full resources of the FBI, alongside our partners with the United States Secret Service and the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, as well as Martin County Sheriff's Office and state and local law enforcement. I would ask that if anyone has any information that may assist with this investigation, to contact our tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI or at tips, that's TIPS FBI.gov. Thank you.
David?
Hi, I'm Dave Ehrenberg, State Attorney for Palm Beach County. I want to thank Sheriff Bradshaw and our partners at the local, state, and federal levels. I'm here because
So we've just been getting an update from officials on those shots fired on the same golf course where Donald Trump, he was golfing at the time on the fifth hole. He later said that he heard popping sounds. Let's take a look at some of the images of former president's motorcade. The FBI has taken the lead and is now investigating this as a possible assassination attempt. ABC News has learned that an assault-style rifle was found at the scene. I want to bring in our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. And Pierre, we understand that the FBI is taking the lead on this. And how are they investigating this?
Well, it is being investigated as a possible assassination attempt. Clearly, they don't have all the details just yet, but what sources are saying, the fact that this man was in the vicinity of Trump playing golf, they believe that he was on the golf course in that general time frame. The man was seen by the Secret Service, according to my sources, apparently aiming or with the assault-style rifle. The Secret Service then fired shots in the direction of the suspect, we're being told. The suspect fled, dropped the rifle, and then we now know that the suspect has been arrested. Again, lots of details to be found out, but this is being treated with the utmost seriousness because they need to know who is this person, why were they there, and was this specifically directed at former President Trump? They are taking it and investigating it as a possible assassination attempt, Lindsay, which tells you the level of seriousness.
Yeah, and of course, I imagine it's too early to know any details about that suspect, Pierre.
We have a name that we're working at, but again, until we can confirm that this is in fact the person, we will not be releasing that information. That will be priority number one, obviously, figuring out who is this person. I can tell you the name that law enforcement is looking at, there's a deep dive underway right now. There are all kinds of assets that the FBI and other law enforcement and intelligence agencies employ in these moments in which they can figure out, does the person have a background of violence? Does the person have any kind of arrest record? Is there social media footprint, a social media footprint that can be exploited? That's all being done as we speak, Lindsay.
Okay, Pierre Thomas. And for our viewers at home, you just were seeing that motorcade of Donald Trump leaving the golf course. We're joined now by Mary Alice Parks. And Mary Alice, what are you hearing from people at the White House in reaction to this?
Yeah, Lindsay, so far, White House officials are directing all questions to local law enforcement and U.S. Secret Service. But the White House did put out a statement earlier today saying that both the president and the vice president had been briefed on the situation, that both were relieved to hear that the former president was safe, and that they will both be receiving regular updates on the situation. The vice president put out her own statement, sort of summarizing that, but adding that violence has no place in America. I can tell you here, Lindsay, at the White House, the president is here. The vice president is also in Washington, D.C. She's at her residence at the Naval Observatory, and there is very clearly a heightened security presence here at the White House. Lafayette Park is closed to the public, and you can tell that there are additional sort of security, police presence, local police presence, as well as U.S. Secret Service presence, not only here at the White House, but also sort of other streets around this area, Lindsay.
Of course, a lot of concern, especially given that it was just back in July at that Butler, Pennsylvania campaign where there was another attempted assassination on Donald Trump's life. Mary Alice, thank you. I want to go now to Rachel Scott. And Rachel, I understand that you've actually gotten some reaction. You've spoken with a politician who was able to talk with Donald Trump after this incident. What did they share with you?
Exactly, Lindsay. Former President Donald Trump, I am told, has been in contact with close aides, allies, including those on Capitol Hill. I did speak with someone who spoke to the former president, who said that he is, in fact, in good spirits, and that the former president was near the fifth hole on the golf course when they heard these popping noises. Secret Service had a very quick reaction, rushing in. There is a sense of shock within the circle around former President Donald Trump. As you mentioned, it was just about over 60 days ago where we were in Butler, Pennsylvania, where there was a different attempted assassination on Donald Trump's life. To be back here again and seeing this from the FBI now, that they are investigating a possible attempted assassination into the former president with just over 50 days to go until the November election is really, really striking to those who are around the former president. Once again, we are told that he is in good spirits. He's back at his Mar-a-Lago estate, Lindsay.
And we did get a fundraising email that he sent out with the subject line saying, "I am safe." Rachel Scott, our thanks to you. I want to bring in Aaron Katursky. And Aaron, we've talked about since that attempted shooting on his life in July at that rally, that the director of the Secret Service actually resigned, that security was beefed up around Donald Trump. Just give us a sense of this current threat environment that we're in.
This has already been a season of political violence, Lindsay, and so the Secret Service taking no chances at all whenever the former president, the current president, the vice president, whenever they're traveling and on the road. And here you heard the sheriff describe that a Secret Service agent was able to see through a fence line the butt of or the tip of the rifle sticking out through the fence. This assault style rifle, which the sheriff described as an AK-47 style. Let's see what it actually turns out to be. And there were other materials. After the suspect fled and was subsequently caught, the agents who stuck around the golf course noticed that there were a couple of backpacks, included a scope, and included a ceramic tile that could have been perhaps a plate for some kind of a bulletproof vest, perhaps. We'll see what other materials the authorities reveal, but it's all very concerning. And until the authorities can rule out that this was another attempted assassination on the former president's life, they'll have to treat it as such, Lindsay.
Right. Okay. Understandably so. Aaron Katersky, thank you. Want to bring in Jonathan Karl with us now. And John, one would have to imagine that it's difficult for the Secret Service to secure a large area like a golf course. Of course, they've gotten years of practice of it because that's been a preferred pastime for a number of presidents. But just talk to us about the difficulty, in particular, on that golf course.
Well, I know, presidents have been playing golf for a long time. President Barack Obama, who I covered before covering Donald Trump, would often play on military golf courses, obviously much easier to secure. This one, which is a regular for Donald Trump, it's the golf course that he usually plays at when he is down at Mar-a-Lago, not far from Mar-a-Lago, is in a relatively populated area, and the road gets very close to the actual golf club, so it is a challenge. I spoke to a former Secret Service agent who had been on Donald Trump's detail when he was president, who has been responsible for securing that very golf course when Trump was president, who was talking to me about the challenges of this and saying that if the Secret Service had not seen that, as you heard Aaron Katersky describe, the muzzle through the fence, through a leafy area, if they had not spotted this, this could have been an extremely dangerous situation. The Secret Service former agent who I spoke to, said that if this individual had not been identified, he's convinced this would have been a successful assassination, just underlying how dangerous and how difficult it is for the Secret Service to secure not just a golf course, but a golf course in a populated area. Now, as you've heard the description from the police are talking about the way the security works, they go both ahead of the president, the former president, when he plays golf, and following up behind the former president to secure the area, basically doing what we call, or what the Secret Service calls, a sweep of the area before the president, comes by to play golf. But it's a tricky situation. Because you don't know exactly which holes he's going to go to next, but you don't know exactly where he is going to hit the ball, where he's going to be moving to. That makes it both tricky for the Secret Service to secure, and also for a potential assassin. And
John, I am curious, before we let you go, we did see that motorcade, the video of the president leaving the golf course. Do we know where he is at this hour?
Well, Rachel Scott is reporting that he is back at Mar-a-Lago and described as in good spirits. I spoke to another one of his close allies just moments ago, who has not yet talked directly with Donald Trump, but has spoken to his son, Eric. The president is taking a lot of calls, and again described both by the source that Rachel spoke to and the one that I just spoke to as in good spirits. All right, Jonathan Karl for us. And I want to bring back in Pierre Thomas. And Pierre, once again, as you stated earlier, that the FBI is now investigating this as a possible assassination attempt. And just so striking, as John Karl just reminded us from that press conference, of the official saying that a rifle barrel was sticking out of a fence, and how, had that Secret Service
Service officer not detected that, how this could have unfolded rather differently today.
Indeed, Lindsay. And even before former President Trump was nearly killed and shot at in the Butler, Pennsylvania incident, the Attorney General and the FBI have been describing this as a threat environment like they've not seen since 9/11. And part of that has been a surge in allegations and threats of political violence. It is in the bloodstream right now of the country. Law enforcement is deeply concerned about it. And you will see, I think, going into the days and final days and stretch of the campaign, even more law enforcement around all these different candidates because they have no choice.
Okay, Pierre Thomas, our thanks to you and the entire team. Just to recap for our viewers, the Secret Service's former President Donald Trump is safe after shots were fired in his vicinity at his golf club in West Palm Beach, Florida. The FBI has taken the lead and is now investigating the incident as an assassination attempt. A suspect fled the scene but was apprehended by local authorities. President Biden and Vice President Harris have been briefed. Both say that they are relieved that Trump is okay. I'm Lindsay Davis in New York. Be sure to stay with ABC News Live and abcnews.com for continuing developments. I'll, of course, be back for World News tonight. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Good day.
This has been a special report from ABC News.